Grace Kelly, 10 weird facts you didn't know. You won't believe what Grace Kelly kept in her gloves. And that's not even the weirdest part. Think you know Grace Kelly? Think again. Behind the Hollywood glamour and royal titles was a woman full of surprises. Some elegant, some eccentric, and some that'll make you raise an eyebrow. In this video, we're diving into 10 of the strangest, most unexpected facts about Grace Kelly. The kind of details that even her biggest fans probably missed. Stick around. Number 7 might just change how you see her forever. 10. She wrote thank you notes to her own handbags. Grace Kelly was the definition of class, but here's something that sounds almost too quirky to be true. She was obsessed with handwritten notes, not just to people, but once to her own handbag. After becoming Princess of Monaco, the Hermès bag she often carried became so iconic, it was renamed the Kelly bag. But legend has it that she once wrote a note thanking the bag for helping her hide her baby bump from the press before her pregnancy was public. 9. Her Ice Queen persona was carefully calculated. Hollywood always painted Grace as the cool blonde, a woman who was beautiful, distant, untouchable. And guess what? That wasn't an accident. Alfred Hitchcock, who directed her in 3 films, loved this icy persona and leaned into it hard. But behind the scenes, Grace was warm, funny, and deeply emotional. She played the Ice Queen like a role because it worked. It gave her power in a male-dominated industry. That chilly gaze, all performance. 8. She had a strict no bare feet rule. Even at home, Grace had one very peculiar habit. She almost never went barefoot. Even when she was just lounging around her palace in Monaco or at home in Philadelphia, she wore satin slippers or socks. Her reasoning? She thought bare feet were unladylike and feared stepping on something unpleasant. Her daughter Caroline once joked that she never saw her mom's toes until she was a teenager. For someone so associated with elegance, maybe she just didn't want to risk breaking the illusion, even indoors. 7. Her wedding dress had a secret pocket for a crucifix. One of the most famous wedding dresses in history, Grace Kelly's lace and pearl masterpiece, had a hidden feature, a tiny hand-sewn pocket inside the bodice, just big enough to carry a gold crucifix. It was a personal request Grace made herself, rooted in her deep Catholic faith. The pocket wasn't for lip gloss or breath mints, it was for something sacred. In a dress that weighed over 20 pounds and took 36 seamstresses 6 weeks to make, that one little detail might have been the most personal part. 6. She once auditioned with a banana peel. Before she was a princess, before she was even famous, Grace auditioned for acting school using a banana peel. The assignment? Perform a dramatic monologue involving a found object. Grace, always up for a challenge, grabbed a banana peel from a trash can and performed an emotional breakup scene using it as a prop. She got in. The teachers later admitted they had no idea what the scene meant, but they couldn't stop watching her. That's the power of charisma, and maybe potassium. She secretly loved fast food. Here's a curveball. Despite her royal lifestyle and refined image, Grace had a soft spot for junk food, especially American burgers and fries. When visiting the U.S., she'd often sneak out of formal events to grab takeout or visit drive-thrus in disguise. She even asked the palace chefs to try replicating her favorite cheeseburger after she moved to Monaco. Needless to say, foie gras it was not. But Grace never completely let go of her American roots, and that included a greasy paper bag and fries. 4. She helped hide refugees in her palace. This one's almost never talked about. During the 1960s, as tensions flared across Europe and North Africa, Grace quietly opened the doors of her palace to refugees, especially children fleeing conflict. These acts weren't broadcast or photographed. They were done quietly, discreetly, with little fanfare. 3. She nearly played a Bond girl as a princess. After becoming Princess of Monaco, Grace was offered a chance to return to Hollywood, specifically to star in a James Bond film opposite Sean Connery. The twist? The producers wanted her to play a royal. The role was tailor-made, a wink at her real life. But the people of Monaco were outraged at the idea of their princess playing in a spy movie. She turned it down. Public pressure, palace advisors, and her own sense of duty won out. 2. She hated her most famous role. Ask anyone to name a Grace Kelly movie, and chances are they'll say To Catch a Thief. It's got Cary Grant, cliffside romance, dazzling gowns, and she couldn't stand it. Grace thought her character was too shallow, too thin, too one-dimensional. She even felt like the costumes overshadowed the story. In private letters, she expressed frustration that Hollywood kept handing her roles based solely on her looks. She didn't want to just be the pretty face. She wanted grit, challenge, and range. Her final gift to the world wasn't in a movie. Long after she left the screen, Grace stayed busy with charity, arts, and cultural preservation. But one of her quietest, strangest legacies came just before her tragic death in 1982. She launched a Monaco-based flower preservation project. Her goal? To train young women in the art of botanical pressing and create a sustainable line of greeting cards, each with a handmade dried flower. September 13th, 1982. Grace suffered a stroke while driving and lost control of her car. Her daughter Stephanie, just 17, was in the passenger seat. The crash left Grace critically injured. She passed away the next day, at just 52. She wasn't some perfect doll trapped in a glass case. She was playful, complicated, generous, private, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of a rebel.